Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm the Grace Draga, and I'm here to give you your masculine, feminine, and non binary energy update for today, Friday, December 19th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? We are going to start right now with the masculine headspace. We're going to be starting our read today. We're going to be utilizing the Smith-Waite Centennial deck to begin with in the headspace of the masculine. Can I get 3 cards? Bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. We've got here the Devil card in its reversal. We've got the Four of Wands in its reversal. We've also got the Knight of Wands in its reversal. How are we doing there? How are we doing, guys? All right, we're going to talk about this, okay? Everybody needs a hug. Everybody needs a hug, okay? This is like in sore need of a hug. All right. So we're going to talk about some stuff. One of the things that I see that is happening right now for a lot of the masculine energy is working through. I need to explain why you might be feeling so emotional right now. It's not the fact. Sagittarius. I need to stress this, and I was saying this. I was saying this the other day when I was doing the reading. Sagittarius have this incredible ability, and I'm sure you've experienced this if you know a Sag in your life, which is whenever I think of Sag energy, I just think of that moment from The Simpsons where Homer says, "Oh, I said the loud part soft, and I said the soft part out loud." Right? It's like the modality by which we feel a lot of emotionality, and we articulate upon energetic frustration. Right. This is a continuation of what we were effectively seeing that was happening. And the thing about it is, especially with all of this energy that we're currently experiencing, it's not the fact that we haven't gone through a Sagittarian new moon before, but it's the combination of working through a Sagittarian new moon in Sagittarius season with the modality of experiencing planets Mercury and Venus that are also in Sagittarius. Now, the one thing that's going to be helpful about this right now is Mars has moved into Capricorn, because Lord, when we had Mercury, Venus, and Mars all in Sagittarius, it can work through the modality of having big feelings and not knowing where to energetically put them. But what we keep on getting, particularly in relationality to that, is I keep on getting the same message, which is healthy. It's not just the fact that not all emotions are energetically proportional. Healthy feelings have directions attached to them, right? The difference between having a conversation on feelings that feels like it is empowering to all those who leave it versus another person feeling like they're like one person, right? Have you ever had those kind of those conversations? You ever had one of those emotional conversations where one person goes, "Whew, oh man, I feel great. I'm glad I got that off my chest. Oh my gosh, yeah, that was wonderful. We're in good shape now," right? Another person is like this, right? The difference between giving someone our emotional homework to do, right, versus articulating upon what it is that we're doing together is what allows the emotions to energetically build bridges, right? The emotions that have healthy directions attached to them. And I almost see like a lot of the energy kind of working through the spaces or places by which, and this is what happens, I would not be surprised if there's energy that's working through the recognition of what happens when we allow our feelings to get the better of us. Now, this is the difference, right? What is the difference between leading with feelings and allowing our feelings to get the better of us? Leading with feelings are the feelings that have directions attached to them, right? The empowering conversation, the energy that feels like it invigorates. And I feel like I see a lot of contemplation around masculine, the headspace of the masculine, again, working through, not based on gender, but what one feels aligned to. The modality of making sure that when we have an emotional conversation, we're on the same page in relationality to what the next steps are, right? the ability to recognize and identify what feels energetically empowering. So I've got, and this is why I was saying a couple days ago, remember when I was saying a couple days ago, when the difference between allowing the feelings to get the better of us is when we feel energetically frustrated, right? And we say something in the modality of having a lot of feelings about it, what do we often do afterwards? Right? It's those modalities by which we feel energetically frustrated upon ourselves. So I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy doing this work right now, it feels, I feel like it's either I see masculine energy identifying and recognizing what it is that they are working towards, or potentially building into that state of energetic empowerment, particularly and especially in terms of what one is trying to, resolve or work upon or energetically improve upon, right? Now for feminine, and we'll be using for feminine right now, Headspace, the Tarot of the Divine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. 3 cards, please. We've got the 3 of Coins in its upright. We've got the Knight of Cups in its reversal. And we've also got, one more please, the Judgment card in its upright. And this is what I meant, and this is what I've been talking to you guys about. I'll just tell you right now. I'm going to keep on saying this. There are times, you see this? See what I'm talking about here? Okay. There are times when the energy is in alignment, in relationality to like where they are energetically. And this is what I meant about potentially working through and that's what I said in terms of like having conversations about the emotions right now, saying to someone, do you have the bandwidth for an emotional conversation? Make sure that you're asking someone if they do, because what we effectively see that's happening there is we've got masculine with like, I've got all these feelings I don't know what to do with, and and we've got feminine energy being like, I don't have enough time. Okay. Feminine energy is deep in that modality of working through the observation of Saturn and Neptune, like the feeling of excitation that comes out of the arrival of that energy as we're going through these experiences right now. So that's the hard part we see. We've got masculine deep in that Jupiter in Cancer, right? What do I do with all these feelings? And what do we have feminine? And where do we have feminine right now? We've got feminine going, I don't have time for any. Like working more in the modality, right? Working more in the modality of the energy pushing into Aries with the Capricorn. So a lot of that feeling of energetically rushing through something. We're busy. So like I said, let this energy, the way we modality, like the continuation of what we articulated in relationality to what we were speaking upon, is recognizing or identifying or communicating to one another in relationality to where we find, like whether we have the headspace for conversations, because working through or navigating that headspace right now is what's effectively going to allow for something to build into the space of practicality. Well, now continuing, and I feel like for a lot of feminine energy right now, and I want to point this out, and I want you to see this. For masculine energy right now, we've got Knight of Wands in its reversal in the headspace. And we see a Knight that's also in the feminine, but it's the Knight of Cups in its reversal. So you see what I mean, right? This is masculine potentially looking for nurturing right now. And where do we see feminine, right? No time, like that, not working so much in the modality by which they're feeling the ability to effectively be in that nurturing capacity in the moment, because, right, they're in that space of effectively working in a very determinative way. So we've got even here, this is a lot of the energy, but this is what I appreciate. The relationships that are working through the modality, the counterpart, right? We don't always, the modality by which we recognize that we're not always in the same headspace is something that we can navigate. Remember, this is the culmination of those moon relationships, the ability to articulate in relationality to where we find one another. Now let's get to the non-binary space. I'm going to be utilizing the Tarot del Fuego. 3 cards, please. We've got the Ace of Wands in its upright. So that's connecting to all that wand energy that's in the masculine space. We've got the 10 of Pentacles in its reversal, and which is connecting to the feminine. And we've got the 7 of Swords. Now this is interesting too, because this is the first sword that we see that's coming out in today's spread. So I feel like for a lot of the energy right now, the non-binary energy is working into the context or the observation. You know what? And I want to describe, like, I want to describe what I'm reading in relationality to working through something. I feel like I want to describe that for a lot of the energy working through that space. I feel like a lot of the non-binary energy is in a very sardonic headspace right now. And what do I need? And this was coming through in yesterday's reading too. What do I mean by sardonic? Which is, it feels a lot like the weight or the force or the energetic capacity by which we are able to energetically articulate upon what it is. Like it's conversations that non-binary energy is having, either with counterpart or with the self, as to what it means to feel energetically safe, seen, or supported in a relationship. This is a continuation of what we see that is happening in a lot of those relationships. And I keep on seeing it's an activated conversation. And an activated conversation is one, and I like to point this out, it's okay for us to be upset about things. We're supposed to be energetically upset in the modality by which we feel that our standards are not being energetically supported. And I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy, doing that work, effectively being able to articulate upon the fact that the reason that they're energetically slower to move into relationship is the fact that they can tell others the energetic story in relationality of having the expectation of moving with someone towards a manifestation goal. But when someone is not doing the work to understand the self, that feels less like the modality by which you get to experience your dream, so much as it feels like another person is just taking out on you the fact that they find you in a state of confusion. And so that's what I keep on seeing in relationality to a lot of that work. I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy doing that work, that ability to effectively articulate or identify or speak towards it. I feel like that's a lot of the energy that is working into the context of navigating what feels often like the modality by which they're energetically misunderstood. I keep on seeing it's working through some kind of feeling of isolation or energetic solitude. But I keep on seeing it's even in the modality by which they work through that feeling of solitude, I keep on feeling like they're working towards their own sense of energetic attunement. And I keep on getting too that for a lot of those relationships, having a counterpart that energetically gets it. It's the difference between the relationship by which another person feels like another person is protected. Like I keep on seeing it's the energy that's building into a protective relationship, which is another that is able to understand why they find them in a modality by which they hold themselves very delicately. Now, continuing to get clarification, moving into the heart space of masculine energy, and we're going to be utilizing the Tarot del Fuego for the heart space of masculine right now. Can I get 3 cards, please? 2, 3. We've got here, we've got the Justice card in its reversal. We've got the 6 of Pentacles in its upright. And we've got the Hierophant in its upright. So I feel like this is, you know, I think that there's, you know what's interesting too? I want to point this out. This is masculine. I like this. This is masculine energy that is working on the observation of what it means to be able to build into the context of emotionally supportive relationship. And I keep on getting this. This is a lot of the masculine energy that is getting better at building into an emotional support system that is not primarily, entirely, energetically attached solely to counterpart. This is the healing that we're talking about in relationality to working through this. Because what happens when you get into the space where you misconfuse, where you confuse disassociating with stoicism, you end up in a codependent relationship with the only person you feel you can be energetically open with. I'm going to say that again for the masculine energy that's doing this work. When you confuse disassociation for stoicism, which it is not, then all you end up doing is building a codependent relationship with the only person you feel energetically safe with. And this is why we see, what is the energy of the masculine doing? They're working to flourish their heart space, right? And what's hard about that is navigating awkward. What does it feel like? What does it feel like when you flourish the heart space, right? It's not the warm fuzzies. It feels like the most awkward thing you've ever done. Okay, it feels like the most awkward thing you've ever done. The ability to effectively energetically share, the ability to effectively energetically express, the ability to effectively articulate or identify or speak towards something that you're trying to do in a greater way. And so I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy doing that work, that modality or capacity of understanding the responsibility of not just carrying feelings, but the way that we energetically communicate on those feelings. I keep on seeing that this is the energy that is like, and I keep on that's deep, that's deep Sagittarian energy right there, right? It's working through the clumsiness of the self. It's like when we're able to navigate the clumsiness of the self, we're able to expand upon what it is that we're trying to do better. Right? It's like on the other side, like this is what we mean by I am cringe, but I am free, right? Because on like nobody else experiences the cringe but you yourself. So when you're able to navigate your cringe, that modality or experience by which we feel something and we feel energetically awkward about it, but then we're able to effectively like proceed forward from it. I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, it's like I keep on like, I feel like it's a lot of that work by being able to, I keep on hearing like work through and take accountability for what they're energetically trying to do better. Now for feminine energy, again, bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, we're going to be utilizing, the Smith-Waite Centennial deck for the heart space of feminine right now. 1, come on. 2, 3, thank you. Really a lot of resistance in the heart space of feminine. Wow, I can see why. We got Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands and it's upright. We've got Hierophant. Oh my gosh, look at this. Hierophant in its upright. We've also got the 10 of Cups in its reversal. So again, there's energy that is shifting right now into union. I also see some energy shifting into separation. But the thing we're going to talk about here is for feminine. I feel like one of the things that we're identifying is, and I want to point this out, feminine is working through the space of setting the standard on what it is that they identify or articulate that they aspire for in healthy counterpart relationship, right? And I think that there's something important about this too, because this is feminine energy that understands and recognizes that the only way we find what we're looking for is when we stop taking a cynical attitude in relationality to what one expects. When feminine energy there's nothing less energetically romantic than someone who has effectively closed a book before they've even opened it, is what I keep on seeing. And this is the feminine energy I keep on hearing that is learning to bless their tongue in relationality to how they talk towards what it is that they aspire for. And we need to talk about this here because I see that this is coming through. We don't allow prejudice in any other context. We don't allow it in race or creed or religion, right? And we say that because we energetically respect one another. So the modality by which we talk towards the sacredness of what we expect from each other is also the ability to effectively energetically respect what we effectively find in one another. And that's why I keep on seeing that this is a lot of the feminine energy, that this is what we understand that over cynicism creates, right? Too much energetic bitterness. But the healthy, and I keep on seeing healthy cynicism, right? Healthy cynicism is the space by which we don't allow our expectations, right? We don't allow our expectations to cloud our perception. So this is what I see that a lot of the feminine energy is working towards right now. Healthy cynicism, the continuation, the culmination of a lot of those moon relationships, which is again occupying a space by which you have hope that something miraculous is just on the other side of the next person that you meet, right? That the relationship that's for you is going to be like nothing that you have ever experienced before, while at the same time being energetically informed, right, by what it is that one has experienced in order to be able to energetically find it, right? Those are the coordinates that build into healthy union or partnership. So I see that that's a lot of the energy. It's interesting. I don't know where Libra is right now, but it feels very Libra there, right? Because that's a lot of the energy that's building into that sensor of energetic balance. Now, moving towards non-binary energy, can I please get 3 cards to clarify? And we'll be using, for the heart space of non-binary right now, we'll be utilizing the Tarot of the Divine. 3 cards, please. 1, 2, 3. We've got here the 6 of Cups in its reversal. We've also got the 8 of Swords in its upright. And we've also got the 4 of Coins in its reversal. So what are we effectively energetically seeing right now? So for a lot of the non-binary energy, I feel it's interesting because I don't see the hermit mode I don't see the hermit card in these cards. But the funny thing about hermit energy is sometimes we can read into it even if the card isn't expressed. Okay. And I feel like that's what we see right now in a lot of the non-binary energy. I feel like there's some kind of energetic observation or working through. I keep on getting working through the context of, and I want to describe it. It's feeling very much, where's Chiron right now? It's feeling very much like the energy. I think Chiron is planning on coming out of retrograde. This could be why. It's working through the space by which we carry the wounds of the past. And the wounds of the past often guide our way going forward. And the thing that we identify here, and I keep on seeing this, a lot of this energy carries exceptional wounds. And the hard part in relationality to carrying exceptional wounds is it builds into the observation of recognizing or feeling something in such a way that it supports, but it energetically separates, is what I keep on seeing. It supports, but it energetically separates. And those modalities or experiences of the energy, and I keep on saying that this is what's hard about a lot of that non-binary energy, is like I see the energy being like working through the space by which the ability to work into the context of identifying and recognizing the shape of love. I keep on seeing some of that energy articulating upon the fact that love has led them places that they never energetically anticipated or desired to go towards. But the reason, I keep on seeing the reason that they're healing in those capacities and modalities is the understanding that when someone finds another, this is what's painful, and this is why we have to do the work to heal. Because when we find everything that we're energetically looking for, when we find that exquisite counterpart, then the modality by which the simultaneous observation that you will meet the best thing the thing that you've always longed for or recognized you needed, but depending on the quality or condition you find yourself, that will either create the space by which you rise to the energetic challenge, or right, it becomes the space by which you work out all of your shadow work, is entirely dependent upon the ability to work through the space by which one is working to identify and articulate what one is trying to do better. And I keep on seeing that a lot of this energy has had to deal with fundamental heartbreaks. And the hard part about it is the modality of experiencing the fact that in the shape by which they experience trauma, they were experiencing another person's distorted love, right? And I almost feel like that is the energy that is articulating to others the fact that love is often not enough. This is why the cliche speaks about the fact that love is not enough. Because when we haven't healed and we love each other, our love does not feel like love. It can feel like it will be the shape of any trauma that we have yet to work out. And that's even the energy that's navigating situations or circumstances with a sense of empathy in relationality to understanding that often when energy does that, they don't mean to, because they haven't recognized it in themselves enough. So I feel like that's the energy that works even harder to know the self, because of the journey of them experiencing hardship or pain from another person, caring about them, but not recognizing themselves in the shape of the love that they held for them. Continuing to get clarification. And I feel like that's interesting because I either see that is something that the energy is expressing within themselves, or they're expressing to healthy counterpart connection. Now, continuing to get clarification, bottom of the deck for masculine right now, and we're going to be utilizing for the masculine unconscious space. We're going to be reading into the Tarot of the Divine. 3 cards, please. We've got Knight of Wands in its reversal. So we've got a lot. Yeah. We've got double Knight of Wands. I need to point out this. Okay, I need to stress this. We're going to take a minute to pause. And if you are a tarot nerd like I am, then this is very important, because there's a lot of cards on this table right now. Not only do we have Knight of Wands right now in the masculine, but both of the Knight of Wands that we find in the masculine are in their reversal. So that's very intriguing and important to energetically notate. We've also got the 9 of Swords in its upright, and we've got the Queen of Wands in its upright. So there's the Queen of Wands from the feminine spread that we find here. So I feel like there's something really energetically important that we're potentially seeing that's occurring right now in the space of masculine energy. And again, bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. Identifying and recognizing. And I keep on seeing this. For a lot of the energy, I feel like there's a lot of the energy that is working through the observation of recognizing, and this is what's important too, and we're gonna keep on talking about this. Never has there been a greater pain point than for masculine, and I feel like a lot of masculine recognizes this with the misconstruction of what Stoicism means. Stoicism is not about turning to stone. Stoicism is the ability to energetically feel everything we feel and to allow those emotions to inform us, but not drive our action, right? The ability to sit in the space of the emotions, to allow them to wash over you and to cleanse you, to allow it to be the modality by which you're able to identify and recognize, and then effectively take a breath and articulate, right? The distance of space between breaths. This is why we talk about the identification as to why breath work is important, because it is the modality by which the thing is, emotions like to demand attention. Emotions like to demand attention, right? And what do emotions say? Like, here, like hear me. Like, emotions bang the gavel inside of us and scream, hear me, right? That's all the emotions ever do, right? They go, hear me. But the thing is, when we are being present with our emotions, we do not become the articulation point of them. We listen. We listen first to what they say, and then we ask the emotions the most important question. Why do I feel that way? Right? Because the thing about it is, and again, the experience or the understanding that not all emotions are alike, right? That some emotions rise up within us when we're feeling vulnerable, when we're feeling energetically triggered, when something that's happening now reminds us of something that happened 10 years ago that was not great. But the ability for us to sit and to sit in the shape in the pool in the shape of the emotions, right, allows us to begin to do the what? The vital work of separating them, right? And so this is what I keep on seeing. This is the masculine energy that is doing the work to disambiguate upon the work that needs to happen within to navigate the emotions versus the work that they need to bring forth without to be able to heal relationship. It's not easy. It's painful. And I see even now, and I'm going to say this right now to masculine, if you are looking at experiences or situations on the past where an inability to do so caused a breakage point, congratulations. Look how far you've come. Continuing towards feminine, bottom of the deck for unconscious space for feminine, we'll be utilizing the Tarot del Fuego. 3 cards, please. 1, 2, 3. We've got the 5 of Swords in its reversal. We've got the 6 of Wands in its reversal. And we've also got the 3 of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, what do we effectively recognize or identify or see there? For feminine energy, I feel like this is a lot like I feel like there's a cleansing process that's effectively happening right now in the unconscious space of the feminine. And it has to do with, I keep on hearing, it has to do with other individuals' quietude, is what I keep on seeing. I'm getting a lot of energy of feminine is working to energetically heal from modalities or experiences by which I keep on seeing it's the experience by which we understand or identify that if we are like, and I think that this is, I need to point this out. This is feminine building into patience. They're building into patience for themselves, but not just patience for themselves. They're building into the patience of the energy that is surrounding the self. Because I just keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, working through the modality, and this is what we kind of recognize with, Mercury and Venus in Sagittarius and Mars in Capricorn. Always patient, never waiting, is the space by which we don't project our patience onto situations or circumstances wherein another person does not recognize that they are experiencing it. I keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships, that ability to effectively identify and recognize or work through the space by which they're navigating. I keep wondering the space by which they're navigating others, like others' weirdness is what I keep on seeing. And I keep on getting, like, it's funny too, because I feel like this is the feminine saying, this is the energy going, if I take ownership of my weird and you take ownership of my weird, then who's taking ownership of your weird, right? Like the modality by which we understand that when we're working through the space of another's energetic shadow work, we don't allow it to effectively bother us or get the better of it. We allow the context of effectively observing, not absorbing, and not only in the context of observing, not absorbing, but further being able to amplify and articulate to another what it is that we effectively feel in relationality to what it is that we're working to heal within the self. And I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy working through those modalities and experiences, that ability to effectively articulate, like I keep on getting, if that is the energy that is working through a situation by which another person feels like they are being ridiculous, I feel like I see that energy. Like I keep on hearing the energy saying, like, respectfully, like I feel like it's the energy almost like speaking forth towards the ridiculousness, right? Like it's a lot, I keep on hearing it's like it's a lot of that energy that's just kind of working through something in such a way that they're able to effectively amplify and articulate why something energetically bothers them. But not only why something energetically bothers them, but not allowing their emotions to be the response to energetic, ridiculous situations. Because often, and this is what we notate with trauma, right? Trauma is the space by which something does not make sense, right? Like that modality or experience by which we feel energetic trauma is often articulated by the lack of sense that we find there. You can't bring sense to a traumatizing situation because it doesn't fix the situation. The ability to effectively see something that's energetically ridiculous and effectively steer clear of it is what I keep on seeing. Like this is the energy that just feels the space of working through the frustration of having good direction sense. And I keep on getting that for a lot of that energy kind of working through that capacity, it's allowing for a context of practicality to occur. But there's something important even in relationality to the practicality, because I keep on seeing that is the energy that is working through the space by which they're trying to be as energetically pragmatic as possible. But even recognizing that when you're trying to do everything and being as pragmatic as possible, the modality by which another person doesn't feel energetically doted upon will often simultaneously or similarly make one feel energetic hardship about it. So this is a lot of the energy of the feminine that is becoming more stable in recognizing or feeling the confusion point in navigating another person's energetic trauma without being traumatized by it. It's like, I feel like it's a lot of, like, it's giving me a lot of that, like, energetic shrug energy. You know, it's like that's very Sagittarian there. It's like, what are you gonna do? You know, continuing to get clarification and moving into the non-binary energy space. Bottom unconscious for non-binary. We'll be utilizing the Smith-Waite Centennial spread, please. Whoop. We've got here the Page of Pentacles in its upright. Woo! We got the Ace of Pentacles in its upright. Holy moly. One more, please. And we've got the Ace of Wands in its upright. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Page of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands. This is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about here. You know? So this energy that we're effectively seeing, non-binary energy, I feel like there's something really important in relationality to non-binary energy. Like, and I feel like it's, in a way, it feels like they're having fortifying conversations about it. It's almost like the energy that articulates the fact that they have to be twice as energetically effective as things. Because what happens when energy is potentially always energetically triggered by you? It's the space by which you're constantly having to work twice as hard at everything, is what I keep on seeing. And I feel like there's a lot of energy that respects and appreciates the fact. Like, I keep on hearing they respect and they energetically appreciate the self. And I keep on seeing it's not something, what's hard about it is it's not something that they felt like they wanted to do. They felt like they had to do it. Right? And I keep on seeing that those modalities or those energetic experiences that surround the self, particularly in the space by which another person energetically articulates upon something. I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, they have come to terms with the fact that there will always be an aspect of the self that is energetically ubiquitous to those that effectively surround the self, right? I keep on seeing that, and I keep on, like, I feel like there is energy in that modality that is effectively does everything they can. And I need to point this out. This is really important. Like, I see energy that works upon the space of understanding that the need to understand the self was necessary in order to energetically survive. That the modality by which they effectively had to come into the embracing of the self in order to energetically survive. And there's nothing more painful than moving into the modality of authenticity as a need for survival. And another person looking at the self and saying, how is all that bliss going? How's all that bliss going? Right? Like, another person, like, I literally see situations here. Where a person, like, was working through the understanding of, this is what I mean with Chiron, like Chiron and Eris, like, still in such close proximity, moving into the space of having no other choice than to identify the self, to come into the identification or authenticity of the self in order to energetically survive. And another person going, how is all that bliss going? Right? Like, the modality by which another person sees that in some kind of space by which they articulate that it is silly, that it is non-necessary, that somebody is not prioritizing the right things because what they're doing in order to energetically survive, right? The ability to understand and come into the authenticity of the self, another person sees as the identification point of operating from a state of bliss. I feel like that's the energy. That's like, I keep on hearing the energy go, like, it's like the energy, the sigh that occurs in that kind of level of being misunderstood, right? That level of being misunderstood, where another person is literally doing everything they can to energetically survive, and another person sees that as something that is, I keep wondering, something that is energetically flippant. And so I feel like for a lot of the energy doing that work, I feel like that's what I mean in relationality to the energy that works twice as hard because they understand and they see themselves. And I keep on seeing that when one knows the self, right? One does not feel the need to constantly have to explain the self to others, but one pays close attention to those who see the self as well, right? It's the observe, don't. This is observe, don't absorb to the highest level, right? The observe, don't absorb to the highest level. But I keep on getting that observe, don't absorb to the highest level that also energetically digs in relationality to holding upon the pathwork of recognizing and understanding and feeling the shape of their own energetic standards is what I keep on seeing. Bottom of the deck on these reads right now. For masculine, we've got the Devil card in its reversal. Devil card in its reversal, which is talking towards, I feel like Devil card in its reversal is talking towards the space. And this is what I see even now, right? I would not, it's working through the energy that understands. And this is what happens, right? When our emotions get the better of us, nobody can see us within the emotions, right? It's about the identification point of energetically losing control, right? That is what brings us into the modality or experience by which we amplify and articulate upon the emotions that we energetically feel. And I keep on getting that those experiences, like I feel like, how do we describe it? It's working into the context of energetic emotionality, but not just, I keep on getting not just energetic emotionality. I keep on seeing it's working through the understanding of our own, I keep on hearing working through the understanding of our own sense of energetic stability within the self. And I keep on getting that there's something really important about the masculine that articulates upon the energetic feeling of doing the work so that others don't have to, right? And I keep on seeing that I almost feel like it's masculine clarifying to other masculine what it means to honor the space of feelings. Honoring the space of feelings is not enough. That's a hard part when we're coming into the space of feeling our feelings. Feeling our feelings is half the battle, right? The other half is sorting through the feelings to figure out what's internal and what's external. And I feel like it's hard because I almost see some masculine energy seeing other masculine energy that's forgotten the second half of that directive, right? And I see the energy being like, you're not honoring my feelings, and being like, respectfully, if your feelings don't make sense, I don't have to, right? Because it's the work of understanding the emotions that have the directions attached to them are the emotions that are healthy. And I feel like that's the masculine that's doing the work to effectively do that, but and also is doing the work to recognize spaces or places where they might have not done that in the past. Now, for feminine, we're going to be the bottom of the deck is Tarot of the Divine. Knight of Wands in its reversal. There's so many Knight of Wands here. So many Knight of Wands. When I say that I see a lot of, I just keep on seeing a lot of this feminine energy that's working through right now. I keep on seeing they're working into the heart of pragmatism. There's a lot of that energy that's just working through. I keep on hearing like go, 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 go right now, right? And a lot of the work that we effectively see or amplify in relationality to those circumstances or experiences, I just keep on seeing the same kind of work that's coming through. And I keep on getting it's the observation of effectively working into the context of building into, I keep on getting building into the space of a relationship that's based or built upon energetic communication. And I keep on getting, there's something important in relationality to energetic communication, because I feel like for a lot of the feminine energy, it's like the space by which another person feels like feminine never feels more held than when feminine is taken into consideration. When feminine is taken into consideration I keep on hearing when feminine is taken into consideration in rooms that they are not in, is what I keep on seeing, right? Like not the modality or experience by which they constantly feel like they need to prove themselves to others. And I keep on hearing this is feminine working to build into the context of relationships that are built upon appreciation, not proof. And so I think for a lot of that energy, that is the amplification of the shape of that work. And I keep on seeing it's not easy, but it's energetically important, because that is the difference between feminine feeling like they're constantly in a space by which they're navigating the demands of others versus the energy that feels the sense of someone energetically taking care of them. For a non-binary energy right now, 9 of Swords in its upright. And that's what I keep on seeing. I feel like that's the energy that I keep on hearing when we talk about the space of the feeling or the need to prove the self. This is the energy that says, like, I just keep on seeing that energy that articulates I keep on seeing comparison is the thief of joy. And there's nothing uglier than when another person, I keep on hearing the observation that there's nothing uglier than seeing the modality by which another person is just trying to energetically survive. And then another person looks at them and says, how's all that bliss going? Right? Because entitlement, right? Entitlement is the sound of seeing someone operating from a state of need and assuming that it is choice. And so I keep on seeing that with a lot of those relationships or a lot of those situations, the ability to effectively recognize or identify that, it's almost like the energy that articulates in relationality to feeling the energetic, it's energy that prioritizes their space, because it is the space that is energetically respective of another person. I keep hearing it's the energy that is respective of another person, building into the consideration point of what another person has energetically gone through, is what I keep on seeing. And so I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy working through those capacities or circumstances or situations, there's catharsis there. But it almost feels like I keep on hearing it's the catharsis that's built upon or based upon energetic productivity. I keep on seeing it's just the energy that works even harder. I keep on seeing it works even harder to be able to resolve the fact that is something that they experience on the daily. And I keep on seeing that's also the energy that builds into appreciation with counterpart that observes that as well. That is where we find all of the energy today. I want to thank you so much for being here and receiving these readings. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a personal reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site, so I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the judgment card. That class will be available today. If you would like to become a part of or have access to those classes, all you need to do is head over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a monthly subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. It's not necessary to be able to catch up. I'll do my best to give you an update on everything that we've studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the over 20 hours worth of classes, you will not only we have a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you'll also have access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. You'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best advantage moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. I also want to let you guys know that on top of I also would like to invite you guys to a very special retreat that I'll be hosting this August, where we will be journeying to the location by which the tarot was first discovered to sharpen our tarot skills. Please join me in a retreat. There will be traveling to Florence, Rome, and Tuscany. We'll be studying the tarot, but not just the tarot, understanding the cultural context of the time by which we discovered the tarot in that location to understand what allowed the cards to effectively thrive in the culture that we find that they were discovered in. If you're interested in learning more about that retreat, all you need to do is head on over to my stack to learn more. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I also want to I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.